mean, depends on what's asked of you, yeah.
Another turnover. That's now 7 takeaways for Oregon. Under 8 minutes remaining here in the first. Dante. They're trying to work him back.
Yes.
So par for the course then.
Yes. Welcome to college basketball.
The foul was on Isaac White for Stanford, his first. Pritchard playing with 2 fouls, back into the game for Oregon. Here's Mathis getting free. His second three. Terry with the inbound assist. Jared has told his team early, remember, we're going to take a punch. They're going to throw them. You got to keep coming back, and Stanford has. Mathis on the catch and shoot. Short of at least a share of the conference championship, but a win here means they own the conference title. All to the Bills' vertical leap.
I don't know, but that was, you know, we always confuse vertical with when guys get a running start. That felt like a vert.
Like an NFL combine.
Yes, yes, at the square. Top of the square is 11 feet. That's what it felt like.
Back to a 10-point game. Anthony Mathis.
103 wins. That means he can pay attention to detail.
Mathis' first shot of the game is good. Points tonight, and he'll have 1,900 for his career.
This young man is a gym rat, made himself a star. He's still hungry. Got the big picture in mind. He wants to win this conference title.
Richardson's first shot of the game.
Fire. Cal coming out on the road. The coaching staff said, we want to see the same success we've had at home when we bopped Colorado and Utah on the nose. We want to be able to do that on the road.
Yeah. Dana Altman was concerned about that, saying the Bears have nothing to lose. Turnover thrown right to the Ducks, and here comes Richardson. He's got Pritchard on his left.
Matt Bradley has to get into his line of vision.
Houston left all alone and hits it.
What I'm seeing is Oregon has the full respect. They're giving Cal their full respect. That's why they're coming out, trying to play with the lead, trying to keep them off balance.
Mathis.
And shoot around that mentally he was ready to go.
Mathis has to shoot it with 4 on the shot clock, and it bears all scores with 18. South, way short.
Nice ball movement, extra pass.
Payton Pritchard.
Calling the games, best seat in the house. Let's celebrate the game.
And now I'm looking forward to Corey Williams, and I will get, in all likelihood, New Mexico State, who's undefeated in that league. Alley-oop, Pritchard, Duracoral. Or no?
Well, with today's medicine, looked like he got fouled on that one. With today's medicine, can't tell because they've been speeding up the healing.
Another assist for Pritchard as Walker dumps it. Why in the third-seeded Clippers? Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown Friday at 7.
How my teams are rolling right now. Giannis is going to be a problem.
What do you mean, your team?
Oh, man.
Milwaukee's
My
your
Terps.
team?
My Terps.
Mathis again. And Mathis has 9 threes in one game against Boise State. That's a Matthew Knight record.
Oh, yeah, you get the easy offense.
Alley-oop. Pritchard with a nice find for Chandler Lawson. Good defense on Tinkle.
And Houston didn't bite on the pump fake.
Richardson from the corner. Another 3 for Oregon.
David Hall pinned down. It has nothing to do with David Hall. Gettings misses, batted out to it all rolls into one. Here's Pritchard in transition, but the Wildcats get back on defense. No. Oh, yes. You seem surprised. Beautiful offensive transition. Payton Pritchard. The Wildcats have to come together and get it back in honor of their fantastic teammate and well-liked teammate, Josh Green. The missed free throws. Oh, my gosh. And how about Payton Pritchard? 38 of the 64 points for Oregon. Arizona, the games they lose, they just don't score. Offense wins. Come on, Dylan Smith, can you play defense here?
Pritchard gets it back. Lob for Houston. And Houston goes up strong and banks it home. Oregon's got a 2 for the Ducks.
You have to practice offense. Spend a lot of time practicing on their closeout defense. How about practicing making a shot?
Pritchard able to get past Smith. Lobs it up there for Houston. What a play by 6 minutes of game time. Richardson out of the timeout gets the basket for the Ducks. A minute to go and an 8-point game here in the first half.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
No, but I bet you'd like to try.
No,
we need to get
I'm offering.
We need to get Frank back because he's in the middle. So many shots.
Cool, but he plays nothing like that. He's been tough and gritty. He does have a rib injury that he suffered a month and a half ago, and he wears some protection underneath his jersey. So not fully 100% healthy, but he's tough.
Under 10 to shoot now for Oregon. Richardson looks for his second, and he finds it. And you got to cover him.
Knicks, Pacers, wow.
So you call it the Clipper games, yeah.
You survived.
Yeah,
you survived Donald Sterling. Maybe your greatest accomplishment in life. Oh my God! What years? How many coaches did you play for in the 6 months with the Clippers that you were there? Was it double figures?
No, fortunately, I only had 2. Larry Brown, we went to the playoffs.
Fantastic.
And then Bob Weiss, the second year, was
incredible as well.
Pritchard with the pass. Bucket by Lawson and a foul. Season.
Deshaun Schwartz and Gatling, they're the A factors here for this Buffalo squad. The other guys are very consistent. When Schwartz and Gatling come alive, then they are nearly unbeatable.
Here's Payton Pritchard, Player of the Year candidate, not just in the Pac-12 but nationally.
He's being outplayed here tonight, right now, by McKinley Wright.
Richardson answers for 3 from the corner.
Up for the challenge, the pressure that McKinley is putting on him defensively. I just like to see him much more aggressive, creating the offense. Limited big guys, but big like that in transition. Yeah, outstanding coaches, both coaches.
Wow, I have rarely seen that shot blocked.
Yes, great.
Do you know the impact of the great guards in the history of this game?
Yes. We got a lot of them.
Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Jason Kidd.
Yes.
Steve Nash.
Yes.
Isaiah Thomas.
Love them all.
John Stockton.
Love them all.
Now name some backups.
I'm not good with backups.
Mark, thank you. Finally.
Patterson in the bucket, count it, and 1. So now I'm going to touch. Parquet misses the shot, batted around. Pritchard's got it for Oregon.
This is where Payton's at his best.
He finds Richardson in transition. Richardson scores again. It's a 2.
Zach Reichel blowing by Anthony Mathis, but can't get the layup, and the rebound Chandler Lawson for Oregon.
Those are the types of plays where you just, that's maybe why you lose a Pac-12 game. You know, layup that has to go down. I mean, we've been talking about three-pointers, but inside the line matters too.
And Oregon State coming off a tough 2-point loss at Cal last Saturday. Chris Duarte hits a 3. 21 against Stanford in a win at Maples Pavilion.
Out of nowhere, too, right? I mean, it probably wasn't even the defensive game plan for Stanford, but was a difference in the game.
C.J. Walker drains a 3, just his 9th of the season.
Right on Pritchard, good pass.
Tyler Kelly missing, and Shakur Houston clears.
Good job by Houston to make Kelly miss. He was going to have a free run to the rim. Houston challenged it, made him miss.
And Anthony Mathis knocks down the 3 off the bench.
Again, just have a positive impact. We mentioned Miller Moore not playing in the last game. He's going to get his playing time back tonight.
Shakur Houston steps back for a 3, and he gets on the scoreboard, and Joslin.
And Kelly with good hands catches and finishes that play.
Here's Pritchard on the baseline. The kick to Anthony Mathis. 3. Second 3 for. Luckily, it sounds like Oscar DeSilva's going to be okay. Anthony Mathis missing a 3, but Chandler Lawson the offensive rebound.
You know, this is the same thing that we've been talking about, Roxy, with Oregon State. You feel like they're playing pretty well, but they're down 2. And, you know, again, Kennedy.
A little while ago.
They can't afford to lose him. With the Coro gone.
Still no Infale Dante. Chris Duarte beats Oregon State down the floor and a goaltend. Give it to Duarte. Moving in. Tries the reverse and the rebound. Payton Pritchard. An opportunity in transition for Pritchard. Will Richardson the reverse.
Now he's got to get that one. Switch some action, handoff, ball screen. But he's starting on him and given the responsibility to try and slow him down. Let's see how he does.
In the combination, Don, of Bryce Wills and Dejon Davis, this could be the toughest matchup as a three for Chris Duarte.
Let's watch him and see if there's any wincing or any less movement out of that shoulder. That's what he was grabbing when he went down.
The lob and the finish. Francis.
The opposition thinks they've game planned for your stuff, your main stuff. But you can't cover everything. So if you get, like Jared Lucas the other night for Oregon State, comes out of nowhere with 21 points against Stanford. He wasn't in the defensive game plan.
Anthony Mathis answers for the...
Individually, to become a good defensive team, they've become a very good defensive team all year.
Turnovers have been a problem for Stanford. Chris Duarte launches. Great.
Austin, team in the follow, his second bucket.
Well, if you could draw up a start, this would be the start you'd want if you're Cal guy.
Shakur Houston gives it up to Duarte, who just hit the three a moment ago. Pritchard with all eyes on him wherever he goes. And Duarte knocks in a...
Unheard of. I've never seen that. Well, Cal now has really opened up this lead. Guy, they're playing at a really high level.
7-0 run for the Bears, broken by that...
Players. Three different guys have now been on. Oh, boy. They've been on Payton Pritchard, but there's another turnover.
Houston comes away with that one after going to the ground. It's funny, both teams are shooting it at 55%, even though it feels like a struggle. Richardson hits the triple.
No, I think Mark Fox is going to call a quick timeout just
after a 10-point first. Tough shot, and Bradley puts it in.
Guys, is there anything that young man can't do with the basketball?
14 now for him. Houston, another one to quiet the crowd, and Dana Altman will take.
Really done a good job in that department.
Well, we came into the year knowing Oregon would be good. That was the expectation. They would pick to win the league. Cal, though, was picked to finish 12th in the Pac-12. And the interplay today, 3-3 in league play. And a win would put the Bears at 500 overall. But what do we know about Oregon? They've been really good closing games, and they love 13. Austin with the longer Lawson on him. Hoist that over him, and it comes off to Pritchard. Mathis feeling it in transition. Racing it up the floor. South, Demon, and it was Richardson who knocked it away.
Great hustle by Oregon. Stopping the transition. Sure dunked by a teammate.
Houston, nice cut. And an assist. See, you let that simmer for a week, and then you come here and lose after leading in the second half. Pritchard up ahead to Richardson, and he scores. And so Stanford's got a lot
from last year's team. Yet here they are, sitting at 16-4. Looks like on their way to 17-4. Even with all the turnover, they were the preseason pick to win the league.
And while they've recruited well, it's not as though they've been North Carolina, UCLA, Kentucky in terms of one lottery pick after another.
Addison Patterson gets it. Jules Bernard spinning and dropping it off. Hill couldn't grab it. Back comes Duarte with his 20 points so far. Along with those 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 assists. You on board for a quadruple double today?
Yes.
Does that sound like any fun?
Absolutely.
Houston, his second bucket of his second half. Time. Jalen Hill has acknowledged that that's been a problem for him. Consistency in the effort. He's put in a lot of work on it.
And this is an example. They're chipping away gradually at the deficit.
Done quiet since moving into the lineup.
It's an interesting prospect as we see another turnover for the Bruins.
Pritchard off to Duarte.
Glimpses during this time at UCLA was he could be a force and be dominant, but just hasn't been able to sustain that level.
Pritchard lays it off. There's Lawson. And every player that's played for Oregon.
So younger players often don't understand how important football is.
Lawson, what a feed that time.
How do we get him more PT? Make your plea right now to Coach Altman to give Eddie some more minutes.
They need to get this lead going, and then maybe he can go in at the end. That's what they need.
Now, I hear you're 18 minutes older.
Yeah.
That was almost a whole day.
Almost.
So, Mom, y'all could have been separate day twins.
I know.
But he said growing up, you didn't take it easy on him, and he didn't take it easy on you. You guys went after it.
Definitely. I mean, we've played and obviously have one of the best teams in the history of Oregon and obviously in the country. So very thankful for all the players that have come in, and hopefully that we continue to recruit.
Now, do you keep an eye on the WNBA? You just heard that they're going to expand some of the perks, the salaries. So are you keeping an eye on what's happening at the next level?
I am. I'm trying not to focus on it too much, but I definitely saw that, and I mean, it was all over social media, so it was awesome to see what they're doing and how they're continuing to grow
effectively in a team setting. I think the sky's the limit for this young guy.
And a pass thrown away. Shakur Houston. Pritchard lobs it, and the slam, Addison Patterson. Temper this one, don't you?
No, it reminds me that the shot preparation is Klay Thompson. I call him Klay Thompson, but the high release. See, try to make them use time off the clock, and if there's reckless turnover, there you go.
The lob. Duarte finishes.
This has been a well-played game, well-called game.
Elijah Weaver fumbles it away. Ahead for Chris Duarte, who finishes. 1 for 2, Rakocevic. Oregon by 3. 3:15 left in double overtime.
The Ducks have been able to get some mileage off a high screening roll for Duarte or for Payton Pritchard.
Here is Pritchard. Chris Duarte. 3.
Looking for right. He's in. Look out. Missed it around the rim. Boy, he didn't have a good adjustment at the rim. Pritchard gives it up and gets it back. Foul line's going to be wide open because of Pritchard's last deep one. It is Lawson in there. Lawson penetrates. Scoop shot. Good. And one. And that's 9:09 to play. Now, this is a really good Oregon team, which tells you how well Washington's playing. I had them early in the year to hit Michigan, beat them, and Ann Arbor, which is no easy task. Extend out on the zone. Pritchard, watched by Sahonis. Lawson banks it in. Nice attack. Pritchard on the move. Pritchard angles in. Underneath, Duarte has it swatted by Stewart. Pritchard. Pretty. Wrap around to the jam.
He's trying to turn around a program that has really been trending in the wrong way ever since Tony Bennett left to take the head coaching job at Virginia in 2009.
Houston knocks it.
We're going to talk a lot about Payton Pritchard, but Isaac Bonton, he's like, don't forget about me, okay? He's a volume shooter. His shooting percentages aren't that great, but he's very jittery and hard to stay in front of.
Houston taken. Bonton stopped and started and kind of throws up a prayer. Mathis transitions deep. 3 knocks it down for C.J. Ellaby to put the Cougs back in front.
A completely different looking team right now is Washington State than what we saw with Payton Pritchard. This time.
There's Ellaby. Ellaby taking to the rim.
Nice extra pass there.
Duarte answered.
Well, it's going to go back to something that we talked about a few years ago.
Throw back.
And Duarte, well, how about this? Basketball's
in traffic.
And this is a pace that you would think Arizona State would prefer, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, but no stoppage for 6 minutes.
And
which team's in better condition right now until we get the under 16 timeout?
Good poke there by Verge. So now Pritchard will have to work under 10.
See, here's the thing.
Come on, man. Highlight in the first.
Well, Verge is the second leading scorer for Arizona State at 13.5 a game. And so you're expecting him to come off looking to score. He's made a couple really good passes here last few possessions.
That's something I haven't seen from him before. That's two really nice setups. So it looks like Bobby Hurley's going to go into this timeout zone with both Martin and White sitting and not losing a whole lot right now at the point. And I think this is what has to be going through Bobby Hurley's mind. Right about here last Saturday, McHale's where they lost contact with Arizona before halftime. Don't want that to happen tonight. Addison Patterson getting in these first half minutes.
How so good on the ball.
And Houston, that's a 2.
Pritchard, it looked like they were going to get knocked out of here early in the second half, and they fought their way back into this thing.
6 straight points for the Sun Devils. Good looking shot, yeah. You can tell that coming off Duarte.
It's been a fun game to watch. Still 9 for Oregon. Arizona State's got a couple stops here and a couple scores.
And that was almost a throwaway by Houston. Duarte had to reach behind to save.
Can't trade baskets and can't trade misses.
Rub it on you, it just goes right through and absorbs through the skin.
Kind of like the Temecula dirt.
Oh, that was special. You never heard Temecula. That was impressive. It's like a
compliment. Mathis hits a 3. He was scoreless in their last.
These new players coming over to join basketball here. Who will be the next Akeem Olajuwon, if that is even possible?
Will Richardson drains a 3, so Oregon
will fall.
So Oregon has more turnovers than baskets as Richardson gets in the paint and can't get the bounce.
Lawson, what a player.
The turnovers by Oregon. So the other night against Arizona State, Arizona's defense forced 15 turnovers, and Arizona State had only 2 assists in the game. So the offense is great for Arizona. The defense is shaping into form, but Richardson right now is
towering like Mount Cameroon over Little Payton.
I don't know if you saw, but Sean Miller, as Nico Mannion went to the bench, was encouraging him, and I got to imagine that was because of the defense. That's something the coaches have been really challenging as Dante scores inside the Mannion off the bounce, banks it in. Nico Mannion up to 17 points now on 8 of 13 shooting.
Peanut butter for all. This game's going to overtime.
Pritchard, beautiful move, the dish to Okoro for the stop. Smith into the lane. Koloko can't bank it in. Here comes Pritchard in transition inside, 6 minutes to go.
How will this young Arizona team respond to this overwhelming surge of the crowd here?
And Oregon is getting hot. The Ducks have made their last 4 shots from the floor.
And Payton has found another gear.
Duarte makes it 5 straight. Field goal.
One thing we didn't mention, quick turnaround for Oregon, really for both teams, but Oregon had to travel. Thursday night game, 3 o'clock Mountain Time tip. Wonder about the legs maybe for some of these players.
I think everyone looking forward to the next whistle and the first trip to the bench for a timeout. Duarte splash. Chris Duarte, league, you're going to find out he's one of the most instrumental defenders in the Pac-12.
Well, at his size, with his athleticism, he's a multi-positional defender. So how valuable is that, or much more valuable is he? Going in, Booth Gotches single-handedly spun the momentum around and gotten the crowd back into it.
Houston dared to let that 3 go, and he buries it.
Big answer.
What is typically a 10-man rotation, no C.J. Walker for the Ducks tonight as Gotch misses. And we also haven't seen Addison Patterson yet. So they're basically playing with 8 so far in game 2 of their conference schedule. Dante from Pritchard.
See, that's what Pritchard.
And Timmy Allen backing down Pritchard. They leave him isolated, and Pritchard wins this round.
How about that?
Houston on the run, and the Ducks have taken control.
He can find a rhythm. Colorado has a chance, and I'm going to challenge you when you said that Colorado's going to challenge Oregon's toughness. I would flip-flop that from where I sit.
So you think Oregon is a tougher team than Colorado?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll find out. This is a guy that they're relying on inside.
will be where the offense going to come from for the Buffaloes.
It is Gatling that's guarding Pritchard, and Pritchard gets past him and lobs it up, and a finish inside. That was a... This is the number 4 team in the country. Held to 30 points and down 15 on the road.
Great play, Payton Pritchard.
Lawson with the
defense applies that pressure. So Oregon going to have to do something to keep Alabama State out of their pocket a little bit more.
Of course, I've learned not to ask Dana Altman about point guards because he always looks at me and says, oh, nice backdoor play. Princeton action.
Oregon out-rebounding Alabama State 9-5, and that's what you expect when you have this type of size advantage.
There's 5 offensive rebounds for the Ducks. Okoro puts it up and in, and 1. Now, this height advantage for the Ducks brings all new meaning to deep in the woods. Pritchard to Mathis, just like their days at West Lynn High School. 32% from three-point range. That's his 17th three this year.
Daniels, one of the wings that really needs to step up his shooting for Alabama State. That's what we were talking about prior to this one. Coach Jackson mentioning that they've got to get some other guys stepping up scoring. He's once again, striking again. A little consistent offense for Alabama State finally.
5 points in a row for Leon Daniels, the senior from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City High School, then Tallahassee Community College. Here's Patterson, long three-pointer. He's rattled. G3, they lost to Austin P 80-69. Their true road games this year, most of them have been blowout losses. They were within 9 at Missouri State. That's the exception. There's Pritchard dribbling between the double team, finding the open Duarte, and he cans it.
And that's the shooters.
DJ Heath dishes it off to Battle, who fumbles it. 13th turnover on Alabama State. Mathis open for 3, puts it up over Ross.
Basketball play rather than just putting your head down and driving every time.
Like a quarterback with his zone read, right?
Exactly. You're just reading the defender and seeing where they help off. And the play should be easy if you're able to get the defense to collapse on dribble penetration, as we for this game. And so that has been the outside shooting Alabama State has desperately needed this season. And it looks like they found their rhythm in the second half.
Ross, the SWAC freshman of the year a couple of years ago. Pritchard right between that double team again. And a lob to Okoro.
Everything so far here tonight.
Jones listed at 6 feet tall. That's pretty generous. The coach's son, native of Baton Rouge, on the drive. Pritchard kick it out to Duarte. Looking for that 3, and he's got it. State floater stays in. Everything falling.
Everything is falling. Everything is going Texas Southern's way right now, but they're playing with an extreme amount of confidence. Chris, you can't do that. You can't let a team hang around.
Mathis answers with
This is the guy right here that's got it going for Texas Southern.
Baldwin now to Hopkins. Lost it. Duarte has it.
And they're too deep in the woods.
C.J. Walker all the way to the hoop. And 1. Gets it off to Hopkins. Just get it across in time, but then turn it over. Richardson. Nice move.
Not basketball at all. He obviously has the green light from Coach Altman.
Lumpkin's three-pointer doesn't go. Rebound Richardson. Richardson all the way. Kick it to Pritchard. Richardson open for 3. Hands it. Hand on that ball. Here comes Pritchard.
That was a tough shot. Well contested by Payton Pritchard.
Pritchard lobbed to Okoro in the jam.
Montana has a couple guys at the scoring table ready to come in, so they're using their depth. There's that lob.
And the jam by Okoro.
Actually drawing through looking.
And the lob to Dante.
Montana switching.
Backdoor Pritchard. Okoro. Good ball movement by the Ducks. Vasquez is a pure high school point guard as he's ever recruited. He's a good get for Montana.
He was. They took him early before other people had a chance to really get a good look at him. And Travis done a real good job of doing that. thing I like about Pritchard as much as anything is he's so much in control. Nice. Another great preseason win for the Pac-12 Conference.
Oh, and there's a big Saturday coming up in the Pac-12.
Yes, there is.
There's 11 games, including UCLA against North Carolina, Stanford against San Diego, Dayton against Colorado, LSU against USC. The list goes on. Utah against San Diego State.
Well, if there's a nice dish and a nice... He's rich.
Oh, I think he does. I think he'll be just fine. 16 rebounds, 12 points for Francis Okoro, both career highs. So on night when Fali Dante has made his collegiate debut, but now he's been the number 5 for him. And Okoro saying, hey guys, I'm here. I'm right here. Don't forget about me. Take away by Pritchard.
It's a good motivator. There's a lob right there. Nice take.
They hit, but never got vision on the ball.
Pritchard Mathis tries it again. Wow. Fearless stop with 2 fouls for the Ducks. So even with 2 fouls, he sits for just 3 minutes.
Well, you got to trust a guy like that. He's been around. First on that Final Four team 3 years ago. Nice pump fake.
Mathis again.
Oh, good. Looks.
After 0 in the first half, all 8 in the second half from Isaiah Livers, junior from Kalamazoo Central.
Back to the 2-3.
Pritchard probing, creating for Mathis. And Anthony Mathis. Brooks trying to get it across. He needs some help. It's poked away. Pritchard gets it back and finds Mathis. Westlin.
Barry drains a 3. His first shot, he points at the Ducks bench. And it is a 7-2 Hawaii lead. Ducks have been building themselves some holes. They trailed by 16 against Seton Hall, came back to win. Trailed by 17 against Gonzaga, forced overtime. Trailed by 10 against North Carolina and lost by 4. Walker follow-away over Raimo, knocks it down.
Speed of space. I'm going to shoot this 3, and Oregon actually getting another look here. The foul on Hemsley, holding an Oregon player, going for the rebound. So the Ducks, another chance at life here.
Yeah, and that's a big break because Okoro almost drew his second. Pritchard, nice move and a bounce pass to Buggs, drives past Patterson, flying out toward him. Won't go. Rebound Carper, he lost it. And Mathis has it. Here come the Ducks trying to take the lead for the first time. Anthony Mathis straight on. Got it from his buddy.
He really does, and a nice seal on the post up there as Carper able to give Hawaii a couple of back-to-back buckets in the paint after they've really hurt the Ducks from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and that was a nice lob by Raimo, the 4 to the 5. And suddenly Hawaii down by 4. They've tied it up. Here's Duarte. Pritchard goes to work with 9 on the timer. The lob and the jam by Walker.
Dribble penetrate in order to get his looks.
Stansberry over Walker. Rebound Duarte. Here's Pritchard pushing it. He's got a Okoro in front of him that said C.J. Walker all the way with the left hand.
The 3-point line until the defense gets rotated here, but the Ducks able to secure the rebound. But that's the thing. We haven't seen Hawaii get up nearly as many open 3-point attempts in this second half as they did at the beginning of the first half.
Yeah, I think if they would like to have that one back. He hit one early on. 0 for 3 since. There's C.J. Walker. The only win ever for Hawaii in the NCAA tournament. Stansberry misfires. He's gone cold after beginning 4 for 5. Richardson wide open. Knocks it down.
Tell his guys we have to be more physical on our box out. Find a guy, get your body into him, and keep him off the boards. That created a second chance opportunity leading to 3 points for Hawaii.
Pritchard the lob and the stuff by
C.J. Walker, what they're looking for at the next level.
Something he's been capable of the last few weeks, but he's just getting to the point now where things are slowing down enough for him. There's a from Pritchard to Walker. Pritchard now winning 10 consecutive games and advancing to the Sweet 16, where they lost by 4 to the eventual national champion Virginia.
So that play right there where Payton Pritchard penetrated, then dribbled out, that's something that Addison Patterson is going to want to take a look at. If it's not there, you don't have to force it. You can easily just dribble out, reset the offense, and try to get another good look like the Ducks do right here.
The jam
transition is what you love about your senior point guard.
After the hedge screen, Mathis able to get a hand in there to avoid the lob. Richardson open, takes it, hands it.
Not great here in the Bahamas. Oregon down 2. John Shelby and Jimmy Dykes here
Paradise Island. Interesting, Mathis was not recruited by Oregon out of high school. Granted a 5th year of eligibility in April, and Oregon grabbed him up. And his ability to make shots. He shoots a little bit with a twist in his body, but he's much better than that 1 for 9 that he's shown so far on the island.
Richardson fires and hits.
Good ball. He was a big-time scorer at Charleston Southern. After his freshman year, a lot of high majors tried to talk him off that campus. And Barclay Radebaugh struck a deal and said, you graduate in 3 years, I'll support anywhere you want to go in front line. But those two guys play really well together.
Duarte gets a 3.
Back screen and the big cross screen. Pop the shooter. Just cannot make a shot. Cannot make a shot. They're using Keeling as a back screen shooter. Watch out.
And there he is.
Hey, man, what a game. If you question, can Juwan Howard coach the college level, erase that, worry about something else in life. Because that guy absolutely, I keep saying it, he will coach on a Monday night sometime in April in his career. That's how good I think he is.
7-point advantage for North Carolina. Pritchard crossover, toss inside, really good look as he finds Lawson.
Absolutely, that's the right call. Just an energy play by Walker. Or Pritchard can get in that lane. He is so crafty and deceptive and plays low and knows when to punch, when not to punch. And
from way downtown, Richardson, huge 3. During this run for Gonzaga, thanks in part to their assistant Tommy Lloyd, that international flavor. It seems like year in and year out, they have someone from overseas making an impact or someone from Canada.
Yeah, and Petrushev is the next guy. The durability, the 18 points a game, the toughness, the defense that he brings. He's the real deal as a college point guard. I don't care about him as a pro. He's the real deal, this kid with the ball right here on the college level. Can he make a play? A momentum basket would be huge. Get it up in time to give yourself an offensive rebound opportunity.
Pritchard goes to work, gets inside.
What a find.
Kicks out, great find. Bam, bang!
I'm telling you, Payton Pritchard is a dude.
Up by 5. Kispert up ahead, rejected.
C.J. Walker just waiting on it. Absolutely just waiting on it and erased it.
Duarte the other way. Answers, and it's a 2-point game.
Richardson just a sophomore.
Dan Altman finding out about his team. Showed some grit last night and again here in this one. Duarte, great save. Ducks basketball up by 2.
Costly no box off, at least a hard box off by Gonzaga. They didn't step to their man first. They stepped towards the ball. And that's a mistake against a jumping team.
Good look inside and the bucket there.
Winner of this game will play Gonzaga tomorrow in what is shaping up to be the Tournament of Feast Week. Michigan and North Carolina in the other semifinal. The winner of this game against the 8th-seeded Zags, who took care of Southern Miss. Here's Payton Pritchard. Around McKnight. Finds Duarte. Finds a 3. He has all.
Bailey with a finish. And how about the big fella run in the middle of the floor, rim to rim. And Powell rewards him. Nice pass.
Walker from Pritchard for the first 8 with him out. Manu Kalashvili. And here come the Ducks with Duarte. Pritchard. Houston. Yes.
It's a dirty play right there.
That to me, Chris, that is ejection worthy. I think that's a play that has no place. I know Luke Ward's not going to play tonight anyway. He's on the bench, but that's ejection worthy for the Oregon bench. And Pritchard with a good find.
Man or matchup you're running, somebody has to be all over Powell. I mean, he cannot get a clean look for the rest of this half.
Walker. C.J. Walker with a 3. Extend the lead back to 10 or more. Powell finally misses one. He hit 6 in a row from deep. Again, Mathis with no space. Oregon has done nothing in the first 20 seconds of this shot clock. Wow.
But they find it late. Pritchard.
And that's the second
chance. Charles right there, baby.
Right, and that's the second chance opportunity Coach Altman really wants his Ducks to limit. It's tough on an air ball, but he's still got to find a man in that zone.
Mathis cans a three. Anthony Mathis hit a ball, won't go, and a putback by Nate Hinton.
And Houston's just relentless on the offensive glass, but the Ducks will attack you in transition.
At 2-1, they started the season a week later than most teams did. They began play on November the 12th. David Sampson told us that, yeah, you got a week break somewhere along the line. They took the week break early so they could develop more. Jump hook by White. Bouncing goes in.
And that's nice. And no coach in America loves the team scoring that easily off a baseline out of bounds play. So Dana Altman obviously going to review that. But for Houston, they just need to continue to live in the paint. That's where they've had the most success against the Ducks. For Oregon, keep the Cougars shooting the three ball right now. 1 for 13 still for Houston.
Well, the Ducks 8 of 15 on threes. Lawson comes after the pick, which Pritchard denies, gets it back to Lawson. High in the air. Over the
offensive spot for Houston in the second half. He's been able to get to the rim, knocks down their only 3 of the half right there. And Houston down 13. You're going to need every possession, every stop at this point, but showing signs of life on the offensive end as this game winds down.
Altman and the Crouch on the sideline, bellowing at his team to finish strongly here. Richardson for the three-pointer to answer. Will
Pritchard, I'm sure, for Chris Ogden.
Won't go for Rashad Davis, who comes off the bench to average 11 points a game. Pritchard spins, and now his longtime friend and adopted brother. That was Patterson's first career three-pointer. Wamba casts away. Patterson gets it now to Richardson. Richardson for an 8-point lead, and he's got it.
Straight year.
Kip Warren hits the bucket. He's got 9 points on 4 of 11 from the floor. Ducks push as they always do. Pritchard to Mathis. Back to the
deep three.
Ellis, another freshman, San Diego, California, can really, really shoot it. A 3-level scorer.
He is now 8 for 14 from beyond the arc. Both of these programs are 2-0 in the young season. A couple of blowout wins for Memphis over South Carolina State and Illinois, Chicago. Oregon is 2-0. They've beaten Fresno State and Boise State.
Talk about another guy that can really shoot it. Anthony Mathis than anybody in college basketball over the last 3 years.
Baseline jumper is a little bit short for Lance Thomas, a transfer from Louisville, now a redshirt sophomore, as Penny Hardaway has started going to his bench a little bit. And the corner three will go
of Arizona. Yet another freshman who is the Pac-12 freshman of the week. Look how easy that is. That's just simple action by Houston. He took off, didn't go rebound, but he really did a good job. Great pass.
And the left-handed lay-in by Lawson at the other end.
Forms weren't broken, and they fixed those. I think they were telling the referees, you guys need to get in better shape. We're going to give you skin-tight shirts now.
Okoro on the deck, saves it. Mathis is open and buries it.
Boy, any time.
Free throw makes it a 4-point game.
Now, if you hold your block out, you're not going to have to worry about an odd bounce like that. Okoro gave up the block out and went for the ball, and it took that funny hop, and Baugh was able to get in there and get it. And these weaves out front. Memphis is switching everything, so you just want to get the matchup you like and turn the corner.
How pretty was
Pritchard takes the pick, the kick, the stick. Houston and Pritchard working very intense. Dennis just ran into a buzzsaw on Mathis there. Just couldn't turn the corner. And a great challenge by Lawson.
Well, Coach Altman's going to have to be happy on the defensive end, but offensively shooting close to 60% and then 6 for 10 from 3. What a screen by
Wow, that was a football screen right there. And another one. And Dante, we'll see when he becomes eligible for the Oregon Ducks, the 6'11 freshman. the end of the quarter, most probably.
Beautifully done.
Just gorgeous. And I mean, the cut was a little bit from the field in the first half. He claps his hands, says, let's go. He's got 7.
Back in that 2-3 zone.
Boise State needs some stops, Mayor. They've got to close on these shooters. What a pass by Pritchard, and the finish, and 1. Walker gets it down. State 6 on the shot clock. Air ball.
How many open shots has Boise had? Everything's contested and physical.
Wide open, wide open, wide open. How do you leave Mathis that wide open?
To Alston.
Alston, yes, the beneficiary for the flush. It's a smaller Oregon lineup without a doubt. The threes have been raining tonight as opposed to the dunks. Last time I checked, 3 ain't a bad deal in terms of point differentials. All the way to the rim is Richardson.
Just see how much just no oxygen out there for Boise on the offensive end.
Beautiful. You know you're going to get that flyer. And running the floor is Patterson.
Nick Grimes already has 3-year letterman at Fresno State.
He was honorable mention in Mountain West last year, averaged double-double in conference play.
Oregon, which ran and made it all the way to the Sweet 16 in the NCAAs last year. Pritchard sets up a Okoro. Ray hits the shot, so the Fresno State Bulldogs are up 4.
I said to both coaches last night, this is not the kind of game you want for your first game. For Oregon, this is a very tough opponent for Fresno State. For Fresno State to go to Oregon, back when I was coaching, I know that was a long time ago, Ted, you played the Little Sisters of the Poor in the first game. This is a tough matchup for both teams.
I remember you at Seton Hall. Duarte there is what Oregon needed.
They didn't deliver the orange uniforms to Syracuse till after January. He never wore orange.
Pritchard up to Okoro. Nice lead, and Okoro finishes. All right, so here's the first little Duarte in the first half. So, ain't no trouble finding the shot.
It's a freshman quick 3 right there. I'm not sure. That's exactly the shot.
Good spot by Pritchard. And there they are. That's the Pritchard having the first night of this season following up. As he gives it up there to his Nate Mathis for the layup. And that'll get a fresh second half on offense. There it is again. I would have to believe this is the pace of play Justin Hudson must want with his team. I mean, quick up, pass, shot, and this is what happens at the other end. Okoro with a slam.
The team loses at Oregon State, and then, of course, they get beat down in Los Angeles back-to-back by USC and UCLA. That was when they were 15 and 12, and really looked like they were in trouble. Get an N1 coming.